Hello and welcome to Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. I'm Patricia Steere, and we've got a great guest today. I'm sure you know him from his YouTube channel. It's Rob Skiba. He's the author of a couple of books, Babylon Rising and The First Shall Be the Last, and Archon Invasion, The Rise, Fall, and Return of the Nephilim. And he has a website, seedtheseries.com. But if you like his books, well, we'll be talking about all of that later, it's babylonrising.com. That's a lot of information, but this man has a lot of information he's going to share with us today. Rob, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Patricia?
I am fantastic, and I'm very excited to talk to you. And this is being recorded on September 23rd, so maybe you're watching this at a later date. But it's a big day for us today, the beginning of the end, or so they say. Have you been, I know your background, well, we'll get into your background, but have you been worried about today, or have you been just sort of relaxing?
I'm totally chilled out, totally relaxed. Have no expectations of the end of the world or anything beginning of the end or anything like that. In fact, I've been posting some videos and blogs and Facebook pages and stuff, notes and stuff on Facebook, saying why I don't think it's the end. And, a big asteroid's not going to come crashing down tonight. And the Pope being here is no big deal. Oh, well, maybe it is in some ways. But, I mean, he was in Cuba last week and it wasn't the end of the world there. So I don't expect it is going to be the end of the world here. So
your latest video, maybe if you're viewing this at a later date, that video won't be the latest one, but your latest video does discuss CERN and all of these other things. And to sum it all up, you're pretty much saying the end of the world eventually may happen, but we haven't really seen all of the signs that may lead up to that yet. So that's why you're chillaxing today. And I was a little worried, not about an asteroid. I don't believe that would happen in the flat Earth world in which I live, but maybe I was thinking they could stage something and pretend it was an asteroid.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, the only thing that I was concerned about, or maybe I should say concerned about, was CERN. Because everybody's talking about Jade Helm, and I live here in Texas, and I've put that rumor to bed a long time ago that I wasn't concerned about that. We didn't end up in Walmart FEMA camps, and everything's still going as normal here in Texas. It's all good. I wasn't worried about that. The Pope, popes do what popes do. I wasn't too concerned about that. The asteroid thing, wasn't worried about that. But the CERN deal was something that I think, legitimately concerned about. Although Josh Peck is a friend of mine, he put up some stuff from the CERN website, and that depends on whether or not you think they're trustworthy and can believe them. But on their website, they were saying, they have nothing else planned for this month. In fact, things are winding down, it looks like. So, but before I found that out, I had been going under the impression that they were going to fire up today or tomorrow. And that last time they really did a big deal, over there, like 11 seconds later or something like that, 8,000 people died in Nepal. They had a big earthquake there, and a lot of people were linking the activity at CERN to the earthquake, and I think the volcano or something that went off in Chile or something like that. A lot of so-called natural catastrophes seemingly happened like very shortly after they fired off whatever they did last time. So my thinking was, if they're firing up at more power than they did back in, I think it was April when they did that it could be a lot more catastrophic potentially than it was at that time. But the way they might cover it up would be by telling everybody an asteroid hit, and then they'd blow off nukes or something like that. I mean, at this point, we are definitely acknowledging that we're wearing the tinfoil hats, and we're being very conspiratorial and looking at everything suspiciously. And to some degree, I think we should look at this stuff with a critical eye. But I'm not about getting everybody into fear. I want to know what the truth is, and I'll start freaking out when I see the Pope and the president and everybody else heading for the underground bunkers. At that point I'll be like, hey, maybe something's going on. But until I see something like that, I'm really not too worried about it. Because everybody was saying that if there's an asteroid coming, that a big chunk of it, and some were saying 2 miles across, and if I remember right, in science class, I think it was a half-mile wide asteroid or something supposedly hit in the Yucatan Peninsula and wiped out the dinosaurs, allegedly 65 million years ago. So, I mean, if a 2 mile wide one's coming, we're all done. And biblically speaking, that's not going to happen. I don't see any precedence for that in the Bible. So I'm like, I'm not going to worry about that. And if it's going to land in the Atlantic Ocean, then why should I care if the Pope's on the East Coast? The whole East Coast is going to be wiped out. So a lot of things just didn't add up for me in many ways. So I started putting the word out even a few months ago and saying, hey, chill out, guys. September, there are a lot of interesting memes. I'll give you that. I've been watching them in movies. I've been catching them in TV shows. Everybody seems to be pointing to September 23rd. But, here we are, and it's 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and so far it's been a non-event. So, and I don't anticipate too much more happening this year anyway.
I was under the assumption that they were firing up CERN tomorrow at a higher power than ever before, until I found out that they were indeed not doing that. And I, like you, was thinking about, well, if they are going to stage an asteroid, it would take out the areas in which Obama and the Pope are, and the elites, so-called, they're not going to allow that to happen. So it didn't make sense, but yet I have been I go day by day, and have been since I'd been kind of following this thing, maybe, I don't know, for 8 months or so. Day by day, one day I think, oh, you know what? They're going to stage something like a fake alien invasion. And then the next day I think, no, they're not going to do anything. So up and down and up and down. And now that I've finally reached the 23rd, the day that I've been dreading, but yet waiting for and hoping would come so I could get this over with, is here. And I look outside and it's another beautiful day. I live in Texas too. I'm in Houston. So.
Oh, you're
Texans.
Ground zero from what I was hearing.
Yes, I'm in ground zero. So
either a big chunk or the main chunk was supposed to hit in Houston, and I was like, awesome, man, if this is really happening, because Dallas is still going to be ground zero if a 2 mile wide is hitting, even if a half mile wide hits Houston, Dallas is gone too. So I'm like, no better place to be than ground zero. Boom, it's over.
Yeah.
Jericho, and the aftermath, that sort of thing. So, but if you're in Houston, well, there you go.
Right.
We have a problem.
Exactly. In the middle of our show, if I'm suddenly gone, then you'll.
Yeah. If you guys are watching this and the screen goes white,
you'll know to also run immediately and go somewhere safe.